Welcome to 1640. I'm Robert Hughes. I'm going to be interviewing Andrew from Swapt today, and he'll have 1,640 seconds to tell me what he's doing and how we can help. Let's get after it. All right, Andrew, welcome to 1640, where we're going to do a 20-second elevator pitch about what you're building. If that goes well, we're going to go for a 4-minute walk to learn more. And hopefully that is even better, and we can sit down inside the warmth of the indoors, have a coffee together, and learn more about what Swapt is and where it's going. Sound good?
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Let's do it.
All right, man, let's go.
Hey, Rob. I'm Andrew, CEO of Swapt. Swapt is a SaaS marketing application that sits behind QR codes, helping retailers build real connections with their customers.
In 30 seconds, look how quick you were.
There you go.
Did you see how quick you were?
That was probably 5 seconds.
Just so like boom.
Yeah, there we
Just
go.
boom.
There we go.
So Andrew, tell me about the overall arching mission of Swapt. What's the overarching mission of Swapt?
Yeah, so the overall arching mission is that if you go out and about anywhere and you scan a QR code, a lot of the times it goes to just a typical website. The ease of use of creating that for a business diminishes its value significantly. So let's just throw a QR code on it. Let's have a website that redirects to it when I scan it with my phone. You as a consumer don't get any value from that. And as a business, it's easy to do, so they do it. And a lot of the times it's free because they don't understand the value. So with Swapt, we're trying to make it very easy for businesses to actually create more impactful and meaningful platforms behind their QR codes. So you can scan, imagine we just got coffee, you scan a Tate and you get a free scratch-off ticket that gives you potentially $5 next time you go back based on your customer traits, your patterns, whether or not they think it's worthy for you to get that reward. You don't know that going on in the background, but we make it easy for the business to do that, meaning that you get $5 to go in again, and they get attribution for whatever ad they put up because they're spending money to do sponsorships. Over $100 billion of sponsorship ads are created per year, never mind out of home. And then you also have things like QR codes on retail packaging, QR codes at events. There's lots of QR codes out there, and they make it so easy to create just a free one that everyone forgets about what the value and the usefulness, or they don't understand what it could be.
Right. So what's the hesitation from potential customers when you're encountering them saying, hey, we want to bring you a customer loyalty program that helps you engage with your customers, help them to come back more frequently, and to be able to get more revenue from them? What's sort of the resistance point you're getting from them?
Yeah, so it's really complicated in a business to set up a new marketing technique and strategy because you have your current pre-existing online marketing strategies and your marketing strategies that are for offline, which right now are usually higher touch point. They're top of funnel, which means the more visibility somehow creates that 50% rule, which is 50% of your marketing works. You just don't know which 50%, one of the oldest lines of marketing. QR codes, actually, we've had tons of customers that we can now tell them this works and this does not, because we'll have things all over the world now where it's, okay, you'll have if you're an artist, you have a concert here. If you're a DoorDash, you completely take over New York City for the entire month of December with billboards. What works? Where does it work? Where does it not work? That's what we're trying to help them decide and figure out. But it's complicated to get that up and running in a business because you have so many bifurcated systems that getting it through the right approval channels, it's an ambitious project for anyone's undertaking.
Right. So there's the fear of the unknown, or the fear of how much of a lift it's going to be for them. Not sure how effective it's going to be. And does your core mission pierce a hole through that? Like, hey, we're going to help you market to your customers better?
Yeah, definitely. And part of it too is that having a seamless omnichannel customer experience is getting to be a little more in the mainstream, and people are spending some more time and effort, energy into developing that. So we find those people that are looking to do it early.
Okay. So you're looking for those early adopters, the ones that are already showing a pattern towards innovative thinking and action.
Exactly. So now that we have, for example, DoorDash and Bumble using us, and we have so many good results from them, we're telling other people, hey, have you seen what you can actually do with these things when they're actually usable?
Do you get a coupon from DoorDash for being a partner? Like, do they give you some sort of rewards or some discounts or perks or exclusive offers? Nothing?
I get Dash Pass, but yeah, no,
Okay.
I love DoorDash. Yeah,
Okay. That's awesome.
yeah.
So what does the team look like? Is it you and by yourself, or do you have a couple of people that have come along for the journey, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so team structure. My team's more, it's a lot more fluid because we're so early stage. So, and we're a marketing SaaS tool. We don't need to have like a million engineers and researchers and everything like that quite yet. So engineer and I are both on our team full time, and then we'll have people coming in. So design consultants, business consultants, sales consultants, whoever we need when we need them. But we always actually use interns too. We heavily utilize interns. So last year we cycled through 20 different interns throughout the entire year. Yeah, we love interns. I think every startup should figure out how to utilize them more effectively because they're a lot of these students in college, a lot of them are either in their master's programs, MBA programs, or just undergrad. They bring a new sense of creativity that you don't always get through a full-time hire as well.
You have a lot of energy too.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Andrew, tell me how you came up with Swapt. What was the origin story?
Yeah, so origin story, I'll take you all the way back and build you up. So 2016, me and one of my best friends, Jay, show him in college, both computer engineering students, seniors, we came up with this idea of scanning a QR code to add friends from a QR code. And the way it worked is you download an app because back until 2021 actually, you couldn't scan a QR code without an app. You scan a QR code, you add people on Facebook, Instagram, you actually click the follow button.
Okay.
The way it worked is it went into your browser without you knowing and sneakily clicked the add friend button. So essentially what happened, and we ended up being slightly successful for your first startup. We had a few thousand users within our first month. We won Boston's Startup-alooza, and we were pitching a lot of investors in New York. And what ended up happening was we got a slap on the wrist from Meta at the time, just Facebook, because we had robots crawling the site. So we ended up deciding to pivot and creating one centralized link for everyone's links to be hosted. It had your photo at the top and links, and investors basically just demoralized us a little bit. We thought, let's get some real world experience as we're graduating. We quit the project. The Linktree came out 2 years later. Bummer. Yeah.
Oh. It's lucky you had a good idea.
I know. If only I had a good idea. So I went to a small startup at the time called Klaviyo.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, Klaviyo was a very small Boston-based startup, interviewed by the CEO, worked with him a lot throughout some years, and essentially worked with a ton of different retailers. And my QR code experience kept coming back up. It kept coming back up. David Dobrik made a 100,000 piece puzzle. And what it was you put a QR code together with a puzzle and you scan it and you could win $100,000.
Oh, cool.
Only issue is him and his marketing staff didn't necessarily know how to put that together. So they went around.
Enter you.
Yes, exactly. So I ended up helping with some consulting for that project as well as a few others throughout the time, and ended up creating this technology that sat next to Klaviyo that helped artists, because artists started coming to us as well for how to collect data on tour and how to streamline people actually getting data from tour for artists. So essentially think of live tour voting, getting to be able to insert your image and it goes across the screen, stuff like that. And we built some of that for them. And I left Klaviyo with an investment from the CEO and co-founders and basically everyone involved, a lot of the staff, some people from Shopify, a lot of people in the adjacent ecosystem a few years ago. That was 2 years ago, actually, from this date, and been building ever since.
So that it was born out of this past experience you had, and you kept having this theme of like, I see the use case of this technology, how it could be applied, where the opportunities are that aren't being leveraged currently, and it just was born out of that.
Yeah, QR code's a really fascinating technology to me because it really connects our digital selves with our physical selves, and there's a lot of different use cases for that have currently been untapped. So I've been on the leading edge of figuring out how to best use them for businesses.
Before QR codes, what existed? Because I don't recall anything that was as efficient as scanning a QR code being brought into a point of action.
Yeah.
What was it? Just links?
Well, Yeah, if you think about it.
You had to type in the whole link, or there was no ability to leverage your camera to get right into an action.
Yeah, you ever hear that giant glass jingle?
Yes.
Or
54 Giant.
exactly. You remember the phone number still. There's tons of people that would get really recognizable phone numbers, so you call them, but that was your best course of action. Remember any of those infomercials from the 2000s, way back when, that's 2000s, right? Yeah, yeah.
That's my vintage.
What happened? You get a phone number, you call that phone number, and that's it. Now the business knows that they're making sales, so you call them.
So you'd say like the QR code is the modern day jingle for companies.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. And then does that make you the king of QR codes?
I could see myself being crowned as a monarch.
Let's insert a crown here. We're gonna do a crown overlay. Andrew, the king of QR codes.
But think of how much, and this is the ridiculous irony of the fact that businesses aren't immediately adopting something like this, because think of how much time, money, energy goes into that jingle, because businesses inherently know that jingle is a pinnacle of their technology, of what they're selling.
Yeah.
And getting distribution.
Yeah.
But now that they have this device, essentially, that every single business has access to, they spend zero time, thought, energy into creating their next V2 of that jingle that basically enables them to create any experience they want for consumers after that scan. And instead, they have a QR code. 99% of QR codes just send you to a website where you could just Google.
No, so is the next version like you're gonna have a QR code with a jingle embedded? So we're constantly thinking about the brand.
You know, there's no wrong answer here.
Okay, I was just thinking about like the thing that was really great about those jingles was it was effective. So you remember the call to action, how to get in touch with them, but it also would get stuck in your head and would come back to you over and over again. So there's an opportunity that may exist in the future of linking not only instantly, but having that resonating memory created from the digital experience that happens after the QR code.
Out of all the asks that we've gotten from different businesses, that's not one of them yet, but I've heard a lot crazier ideas. I actually think that that's a good one, because then you scan it and you just know that the business is
1640,
yeah,
changing the game.
go.
Here we
there
go.
we go. Yeah.
All right, so we talked about your team, we talked about the mission, we talked about the technology a bit, and you touched briefly on the initial funding that got you going. How are you guys growing today? Are you getting revenue in the door? Are you going after another round of investment? Tell me about like the financial situation of the company.
Yeah. So I would say that our company, as of every company, has a lot of hills and battles to fight.
Absolutely.
The battles we've fought so far are initial validation, initial investment, initial customers, and then proving out that initial validation, initial investment, initial customers to get contracts that are meaningful.
Yeah.
Being able to run and have significant profit margins off of what we're making so far from our initial customers. And the next step is going from stability to growth. And in order to do that, we need to refine the product even more in order to break out of our current contract range for our average ACV, our average customer value, because there's a big saying in this technology growth phase where a 5 to 25K contract range kills companies
Yeah.
for a year, because it's so much that you can't just let people sign up for themselves, and it's too much or it's not enough to hire sales reps, because sales reps right now aren't looking for that 25K sign. They're looking even 100K for sales reps now. I would say 25K is too little. It could even go to 50K, because even 100K for a lot of sales reps, enterprise sales reps, that's nothing. That's peanuts. They're looking for 7-figure contracts now when they're signing up with enterprise technologies. So we need to find out, and we have been finding out. We actually just recently, not going to tell you which customer, but we have been signing on a few customers, one of which did break that point significantly. Nice. Which makes it me more confident that we can actually replicate that, do that with more experienced sales reps. I'm running the whole ship right now. I'm not an experienced sales rep. Imagine what we can do with a few.
You landed Bumble. How did you land Bumble?
Yeah, so every success is masked by a million failures, right? It's all about every single day having a cadence to figuring out who's the best use case for this technology, who's shopping, what are they looking for, what are similarities and things that we can bring to them that we've done before that could be helpful for these customers. A lot of the times for customers, I'll even travel, I'll go to their headquarters or I'll go to their area of residence, and I'll just be there and I'll try to network into meeting a lot of people. This is a hint, I've been in Northwest Arkansas for the past year as much as I can be. Yeah, it really depends on.
I oddly know what you're talking about,
Yeah.
which is really strange. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Wondering, just Google what companies in Northwest Arkansas and
Coming soon.
yeah, you'll figure it out.
Awesome. So right now you're the lead salesperson. You're the sort of the beating heart of the engine that's driving revenue, and then you're trying to work on getting these contracts scaled up so that you're not in this zone of you constantly going to various places and finding these creative ways of getting in front of potential customers where that alignment is obvious to you but not so obvious to them. Is that sort of the next couple of months is like, how do we get more of those contracts booked so we can get our first enterprise sales people or team in place and start having a sales organization?
Yeah, so what's important to know here, because I think growth and technology for a tech company goes hand in hand, and bringing us back to tech for a second, our growth, what a decision that we made around 6 months ago that is a pivotal decision for our company is we decided let's scrap our product and let's build an entirely new product off of just all AI infrastructure. So essentially what that means, and we're going to launch it in the upcoming month. Of course, we're keeping our current product, keeping feature updates every once in a while, keeping it stable, usable, et cetera, for all of our current customers. But in a month or so, we're going to completely change our current existing version of our product and replace it with an AI first built product. And yes, it's buzzy to say AI first or we did this for AI, but what it actually means is that as a tech company, if you want a new feature, we're going to be able to type it into a command line and it will be built.
Wow.
It was a very difficult decision to make at the time, but now that we've been going through it, and a 6-month investment for a startup it's not, you think 6 months, okay, a company can make
A quarter of the time that you've been around.
that's a long time. It was a big decision. It's a big investment. It's taken a lot of time and effort and energy just to keep with it, actually.
Right.
But I'm very optimistic that it's going to see fruits when we launch it because it's exactly what our customers are asking for. It's way better than our current product. It's seriously, I equate this because I'm an engineer myself, computer engineer graduate, built a lot of the initial product, a few hundred AWS Lambda functions, if people know what that means. It would take a team of 20. 2 years ago, it would have taken a team of 20 working round the clock for at least a year to build what essentially 2 engineers did in 6 months.
Incredible. Does that change like the forecasting for when you're thinking about the next round of funding and the rounds after that? Because now you don't have that capital requirement from the engineering side to have to hire 1,000 engineers to build the thing. You might have to hire 50.
Yeah, yeah. And that's a big, big thing too, because for example, I was at Klaviyo, and at the time, a big reason for the success was that over time, the way the technology was built was just so much more modern than any of its competitors. Like if you think about a technology built in 2015 versus 2010, you're looking at the difference between being built on the cloud.
Right.
And think of the infrastructure cost for a technology company in 2010. You had to buy computers to run your technology. And the more customers that came on, you bought more computers. So if you're a big tech company, you have 1,000 computers sitting somewhere. That in this day and age, 10 years later, 15 years later, it's literally unthinkable. And
Yeah. I saw the cloud, like the compute costs for startups, and how much it costs to actually do it today compared to just 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's down and to the right. It's incredible. The slope, it's just getting less and less expensive.
SaaS is becoming a commodity.
Yeah.
And being able to market, distribute, creating more strategies around how it's helpful to the customers, creating real revenue opportunities for your customers through your technology. All of those things are absolutely pinnacle when you're creating product now, because if you don't do those things, it is getting to be easy enough to build around it and create a better product than you in 6 months or sooner for most use cases and most products.
You touched on something, this is a little bit off topic, but I've been thinking and talking a lot about this idea of like SaaS becoming a commodity. In that world, enterprise sales people that are seeking $1 million plus contracts, does that change that behavior expectation from there? And or should it be changing the way they're thinking about sales where the price is probably predictably going to come down as things become more of a commodity?
That's a tough one because enterprise sales is different than just having technology.
Absolutely.
Because what you need to do as an enterprise sales rep is you're not just saying, hey, here's my tech, buy it now. You're finding the right stakeholders in an organization and convincing them painstakingly, one by one, to adopt an entirely new, sophisticated class of technology that's going to change their day-to-day,
Yeah.
their KPIs, and how they ultimately run and measure their company. So, for example, people hire Deloitte, BCG. There's huge consulting groups that pay a ton of money to analysts that stay up 100 hours a week that are my age that literally all their job is to do, because I could just, as an internal employee, say we should do this. But getting everyone, if I'm in marketing, getting everyone in engineering to be on the team and getting everyone over here to be on the team, getting these people to be on the team would be almost impossible. So what I see an enterprise sales rep being in the future and is now, but continue being is, and why they're so pinnacle to success for any company is because they have to go into all these enterprises and completely change their minds. You're in an enterprise. I'm sure you know
It's hard.
it's hard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you were almost acting like the perfect enterprise salesman, traveling to locations, integrating yourself into the people, finding your way to the decision maker, and then making a bid to get their business and to help them change the way that they're doing things currently.
Yeah. Enterprise sales reps are expensive, and many of them will not just join a company because they think they can sell the product. They need proof points that this product can sell. How much can it sell for? And if they were signed on, how much money they can expect to make. What's their target OTE for that year? And is it realistic? And if I can't do it myself as the founder, the person that believes in this company and the mission, then how can I expect someone else to do it?
100%. So we talked a little bit about where you are. We talked about the team, all the things leading up, a little bit about where you're going. What's in the next 6 months to 12 months that you're like, these are the things that we really want to hit, milestones, accomplishments, things that you're setting out, like it's the beginning of the year. What do you want to get done the first 6 months that are going to move the business forward?
Yeah. So landing the contracts that we have out right now, right now we have some contracts on the table that will basically triple revenue.
Nice.
And ideally throughout this upcoming year, we want a 10x. So what that means is that, because I know 10x is just a buzzword, but what that means is that we need to first and foremost release this new product. We need to find those deals or continue pursuing those deals that have been in our pipeline and finally get them to close with this new product launch. And we need to continue finding more of them adjacent. If you don't want us, maybe we go to competitors. Maybe we get some sort of non-disclosure for more revenue, or not non-disclosure, but what is it called when we can't? Yeah, exclusivity deals. There's a lot of different ways we can do it, but there's also the entire angle of going after the smaller retailers as well. So as we're building that larger product, how do we continue getting these hits? Because that's what we did this past year, where we started trying to go after those big deals, and month after month, it's like, due to our efforts, because we hired this intern or this person came on for a bit, we were getting 10 to 20K months in just from these people going around to the smaller businesses and signing them up. And that's nice because obviously you get some more revenue and you start growing the business through those smaller deals.
Yep.
But it's very difficult to juggle going after the enterprise and going after the SMBs at the same time, even though our product can do it. So while these next 6 to 12 months come into fruition, we're getting the product ready, we're going after those enterprise deals. A huge thing always on my mind is, what is a distribution channel that makes getting those smaller yet meaningful contracts easier through the door?
You got to have those runners on base to hit those grand slams. You know, they keep the lights on so you can take those bigger shots, those bigger contracts that allow for the top line revenue to grow in ways that are meaningful and noticeable, actually, for your customers and for your investors. That's really interesting.
Yeah, and even though costs are really high up here, maybe we can reduce the amount of cost to get onto our product, because even though it costs $8K for this right now, if we make it 1.2K, but we have a larger audience that doesn't need a sales rep for 1.2K yearly contracts, can we get 10 of these in the time we can get one of these?
Right. It's going to be kind of figuring out the makeup of the revenue. It's like, how do we get to 10x? It's going to be a couple of larger, big contracts, some medium-sized ones, and a lot of little ones.
Exactly. I wish I had like a whiteboard to do this because I'm doing it on the table. I know our viewers can't see it.
I can kind of see it though. I can see where your makeup is and where it's coming from. All right, so I think we have a great perspective on what Swapt is, where it's going. The last 2 minutes, I want you to just look at the camera and talk directly into the camera about what you want and what you need from our audience. What is it? What's the best way that they can support you and your efforts?
Yeah. So I'd say when creating a business and being in my specific stage, the things that are going to move the needle are talent. So how do I find those people that are ambitious and do want to help sign those smaller deals for, you know, for an internship or something, consultancy, etc. B, having those connections. So anyone that has those ideas or wants to be that early game changer, that's going to be extremely helpful for us, finding people that resonate with our mission, beliefs, and want to be early on the team as either a customer or partner. And then also the last thing is distribution. So if you have any ideas for a distribution channel, if you've gone into distribution before and have ideas for go-to-market, the more the merrier.
Where can they reach out to you?
They can reach out to me. We could throw my email on.
We'll throw your email on.
Okay, we'll throw my email on, Andrew@Swapt, SWAPTQR.com.
And his new Twitter handle is Andrew, the King of QRs.
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna have to adjust it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a crown.
Yeah.
Insert crown right there.
Crown.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming out. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It was a blustery day, but we got through it. And I'm really impressed and excited to see where you take this thing.
Yeah. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. Thanks all.